Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. I feel way better tonight than I did last night. I was sitting in depression for a good amount of time. I really didn't even know if it was real. I did the smack in the face wake-up call a few times just to see if it was a nightmare, and unfortunately it was one that just happened to be real life at the same exact time. You can't look behind you anymore, though. There's only one way to go about this, and that's kick the teeth in of the Atlanta Braves in Game 3. Handle your business, because think of how we feel after Game 3 if they win. You got one more to go, and you're at a crazy ballpark. You can shut the door without having to go back to Atlanta. You win Game 3, and we're riding the high, thinking here it is again. You let it slip the first time around, but not today. Won't happen a second. So let's see if that's how they do this, and I expect them to, considering hasn't that been part of their genes since this core has been put together? Whenever you count them out, whenever you think it's the lowest of the low, whenever tragic occurs, they rebound pretty damn well. They have a toughness about them where they can flush it quickly. Now, I don't want them to flush it totally, because I think that can help inspire. It's more about the way that they go to the ballpark in the morning to get their batting practice going, to get their stretching going, whatever their routine is. The AirPods are playing, the music is on, you're locked in to a whole different level than you were if you were just up 2-0 thinking of closing because, well, you know what you did. You know how sour the taste is in your mouth because you should be really finishing the job and putting your feet up relaxing. You should have the Braves' necks in between both of your hands, and you're squeezing as hard as humanly possible, but you're not. It's an even playing field currently. Not really, though, because playing at CBP isn't a clean place to play whatsoever. So it's not, but it's tilted way less than it would be if you were up 2-0 with the stranglehold on their season. You've been hearing this all day long, so I won't pretend like I'm the first one telling you about what it took the Atlanta Braves to even win that game. But if you're looking for optimism, there's no doubt that there is truth to that. That catch by Harris was absolutely absurd. Nick Castellanos could put together that swing 99 times, and I think it is, or 100 times, and he's safe. I think it is a decent play for the Phils, 99 out of those 100. For as great of a comeback as it was for the Atlanta Braves, they still should have lost in the ninth inning if they don't get one of the most heroic catches in a playoff baseball game. That was absurd, outrageous. That doesn't make any sense. That ball should be over the wall in my eyes, but at worst, it hits off the wall, and now you're running around the bases full speed. The Braves are not back because of a couple of innings. The Phillies were in control for two of those games for about 88% of it. Grab onto that optimism and recognize that they are going to do that again. What you can't do is make mistakes, Trey Turner. What you can't do is be sloppy defensively. That's where I'm at today. I'm sitting in a spot where I feel good about the way that they rebound. I feel good knowing that majority of this series so far, it's been advantage Phillies. And that was away from their fans. You put them in front of their fans, and it's even more intense. All these decisions made. Rob Thompson keeping Zach Wheeler in a hair too long. Saying that Zach Wheeler shouldn't have started the seventh, I believe personally is a foolish take. You're just reacting to the results and not so much the logic of the decision. Zach Wheeler was dominating. Here's where I think that Rob Thompson needs a quicker hook. I don't know if I would even let him see Ozuna, but you let him see Ozuna. And it was a nice strikeout. He's got to go then. And then you hear after the game that Zach Wheeler spoke with Rob and said, make sure you get a guy going. Make sure somebody's up and ready. That would make the hook even quicker, I would think, than longer. But Rob didn't. So he didn't even listen to the player who informed him, make sure that there is somebody to call upon if I need it. pretty much admitting, hey, I'm leaking oil here, but I can still give it a couple extra batters in this inning. Just be on the phone, pick up that call, go to the pen. So I was stunned because knowing how everyone manages these days, you're normally shorter than you are longer with these guys. And especially Rob, to push him extra. If Hoffman goes fastball instead of an off-speed pitch, do you get that home run? And what about that home run? One-handed, that ball kept going and going. That one kept flying to left field, but Nick Castellanos' ball died at the wall to right center. One-handed. This is what happened for the Braves to win. Is that a recipe for success? The only way you could shake it for Atlanta is it's less about duplicating that to win and more about them playing their game now that they made a couple free throws. Basically, is you see the ball go through the hoop. So you missed all your jump shots, you get fouled, you go the line, now you start to rejuvenate because you get that sense of, all right, things are going well again. I don't know. I'm in the camp of, I think the Phillies know that they're better. I think the Phillies have performed better. They've been pitching better. I think they are better right now. Where they currently stand, they are better. That's what I think. That's why it's even more crushing. Sometimes it's easier to swallow the pill when you're the underdog and you know you don't really stand a chance with the other team. You just want to see a good fight. If you happen to push them to 5, then so be it. But that's not where we are with this squad. I know the Braves are talented, and they are technically favored just in regards to, okay, before the series began, which team's better, which team had the better record, which team has a better shot on paper with Vegas to win the championship. Okay, yeah. But I'll put all my money on this Phillies team. With the way whenever they get knocked down, they get right back up. There's something about the way they come together. And Nick Castellanos said his best. And I believe in that because I know it's real. That's truly who they are. So I got no doubt that they come prepared, ready for a fight on Wednesday night. This is how I expected it to go after yesterday's recording. I'd be crushed more than anything I've ever been crushed like before for a sporting event. And then by the time we get to right about now, and just for some perspective here, it's 7:17 on Tuesday night. So it's not 24 hours. What did that game end? Around 9 or so? So we're flirting around 20, 22 hours later. And I'm ready to go grab a W and kick some stupid Braves ass. I can't stand them. Arcia. What a joke. What an absolute joke. I can't wait for Bryce Harper to do one thing, and that's bend him over. Oh, man. Oh, man. Imagine a 3-run jack, and then he slowly trots the bases and takes his time, admires it. I don't know, something similar to when Rhys Hoskins went yard against the New York Mets a couple years ago, and he took his great old time, and he just jogged nonchalantly like an old grandmother at Washington Lake Park on a Saturday afternoon. If you don't live around here, you have no idea what that means. I live around here. I don't even know what that means. I don't know why I applied that to an old grandmother. It could be anybody. Hell of a park, and I love to get fresh air there. Represent South Jersey, always. Always. We're going to take some calls. There were calls from the game, but because this is also the day after show, I want to utilize some of the calls that came in this morning in preparation for this show too, because I think that fits the narrative a little bit. If you take anything I said from yesterday and applied it today, we're in 2 different zones here. You know what I'm saying? But my bookie only has 1 zone, and that zone is the greatest in the world. When your money is on the line, choose a trusted sports book that gives you tools to win like my bookie. My bookie is the presenting sponsor here of Sports Talk with Broads, and listen to this. Right now, it's available for you, and you'd be a fool not to jump in. Try the MyBookie money bag to grab a potential Super Bowl frontrunner at long shot odds. plus 38,000 on the Eagles and Chiefs. You won't find odds like that anywhere else. Plus, my bookie has a no strings attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quickly. So when you use promo code BRODES on your first deposit, you receive up to $200 in cash. That's promo code BRODES to claim your cash bonus now. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with my bookie. Check out the link down below. It brings you to the sign-up page. Utilize promo code BRODES. And also, if you're new to the channel here on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow along as we embrace this journey of Philadelphia Phillies baseball, which I anticipate this thing wrapping up in 4. I can only imagine how Bryce is going to wake up on Wednesday morning and apply himself to this game. And then also look at Stott and Bohm and everybody else, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. They are just as aggravated as we are sad. We're allowed to be sad. The fans, it's okay to truly be hurt and devastated. That's part of this experience, right? The lows is what makes the highs so special. You don't feel the gut punch ever, then you don't know what it's like to be down bad, meaning when you're doing great. I don't know, is it the same high? Absolutely not, because you have nothing to compare it to when it's going wrong. So for as sad as we were last night, I can only imagine that they're just as frustrated, and then they go to the ballpark with such a killer mindset that they blow this thing out for Game 3. Aaron Nola, I have trust in him. He dominated the last time he took the ball, which was a postseason game, and I expect him to do big things. I'm not playing scared. He could be a big game pitcher. It wouldn't be stunning if he goes and throws 6 1/3 one earned run ball with maybe 6 or 7 strikeouts. I think it's very, very possible. Forget what some numbers say about Aaron Nola this season, regular season. I don't even know what they are. I have no idea. But I know he's not the same pitcher now as he was when he was struggling for a large portion. So for me, it doesn't even matter. It's a totally different pitcher. Right now, I'm basing it off of the most recent. And when he's had the ball in his hands, this team's been in a very solid spot. Let's go. Take the ball. You got the crowd behind you. And go kick some ass. I feel good about it. I really do think that they put this thing away in maybe the 5th or 6th inning. And I guess you can never rule a comeback out because it's sports and things happen crazy. But let's say they're up 6-1, 7-1 in the 6th inning. I'm projecting that type of beatdown because they are pissed. They're pissed. They know what was left behind in Atlanta. And while you have to flush it and you can't harp on it because there's nothing you can do about it, I like using that as fuel. I like that, thinking about the fire. A pissed off Castellanos, he probably thought just like me that that was a home run. Or at least you were scoring a run there with Bryce Harper running past second base. And as problematic as that is, because you need every single at-bat and you're giving away outs against a team that is super good in the Atlanta Braves, I thought today there was too much emphasis on that compared to the entire body of work. It's pretty simple. Bryce Harper isn't going to change his way of playing and his way of running the bases. He's super aggressive, and he knows he was in the wrong. He said it. I was in the wrong. Yeah, he knows. But guess what? He'll do that 9 out of 10 times and be safe with it. You have to live with the one that he fails. Or if he's safe 8 out of 10 times, you have to live with the 2 that he's not. He's been in this league how long? You're not changing the head down, I'm running as fast as possible, and I'm always going to lean on the side of super aggressive. I'm okay with it. Last night, not so much. Today, as I saw it getting beaten down and criticized and ridiculed and Bryce Harper this, Bryce Harper that, we were focusing on the wrong details in my opinion, but whatever. It's in the past. After this is over, this show that is, I'm done with it. I don't care anymore. It's on to the next one. We have to live that way. Might make you uncomfortable. It might not be your preferred way. It's not my preferred way. I want to be up 2-0. But we're not. So what are you going to do about it? And this team's toughness all year long screams they have the answers. Rob has the steady hand. He's got the decision-making. And for everything that went wrong, whether it was just by the skin of his teeth with Zach Wheeler or anybody else, they all get cleaned up. Because I've seen Topper push buttons crazy well and win you games more than flop. Game 1 was a masterpiece. He does manage a lot of masterpieces. That wasn't the case in Game 2. But just like Bryce Harper and everyone else tend to rake, well, pushing the right buttons is what Rob Thompson can do. His version of raking, his version of stepping into the box and smoking a double is to go to the pen at the proper times, find the pockets, find the lefties, find the matchups that you're looking for, look for Olsen, look for certain guys, get Alvarado in there, and then give Craig Kimbrell the ball with the lead so we can wrap this thing up in 4 at home. Celebrate at home. Go to Xfinity Live after Game 4 because you win at home. Brandon Marsh leading the party at home. It's not hard. All right? They can do it, and I believe that they will do it. What say you out there, though? Let's rock the phones.
Hey, bros. Rowdy here from Syracuse. You know, honestly, now that it's the morning after, I don't feel as bad about this one, and I'll tell you why. Because it took them, quote, they're, quote, the most deadly offensive team in MLB history. It took us leaving 10 guys on base, 2 errors, a fluky one-handed home run from Riley, that if there's a little wind in the left out of left field, that ball's probably hanging up, a low percentage catch against the wall, and a one-handed pick by Riley getting Harper at first. For them to beat us by 1 run in their home park, are you shitting me? I'm not letting them piss on this party. We're bringing this mother back to CBP. We're going to rout these fuckers right now. We need Nola to show us why he needs this bag. Give us a big start. No, use up little bullpen. Keep them ready for Game 4. Turner's got to clean it up, but I trust him.
I trust him too, and I think that you exactly expressed what I was feeling as the day went along here. When you think of all the variables and what it took the Atlanta Braves, they still, even with all that, even everything you laid out, the Phillies should have gotten another run. Who knows where that 9th inning could have went if you didn't get one of the craziest catches at the wall that we've seen. That's what it took. I can't see them doing that again at all. And you're right about the runners in scoring position thing. Now, unfortunately for us, that can happen again. Now, that's been a product of this team. So for as much pride that we have with this group because of their bounce back ability, it's a strength. A weakness is a lack of timely hits. So that will probably pop up once again. Can you make the argument? Same thing with Trey Turner and his sloppiness? Because that has happened way too often, way too much for a talent like that. I'm not trying to be all down now. I don't want to make this a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. Let's bring it back to the positive side. And you're absolutely right that this team right now has flipped the script. It's time to go, and it's time to handle business in your park. They know it. They know it. It's one of those things where, you know, sometimes you ask a coach when something awful happens, what did you say to your team in the locker room? And you let it work them out themselves. I don't have to tell them. When somebody does something wrong on the ice and there's a bad turnover in the slot. Now, the Flyers give up the puck and Carter Hart gets scored on because nobody's in front of the net and you leave your goalie out to dry. And I guess it's different when you have a bunch of young guys that are growing. Like, I'm just saying, veteran guys. That's what this team is, a group of veteran guys. The Flyers are a horrible example. But let's say Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. someone who's been established in this league has a huge screw up. The other team scores because of it. He goes back to the bench. You don't have to tell them what went wrong. You don't have to tell them what they did that wasn't good or why they failed. They know. They've been doing this a long time. They've been playing in a lot of high emotional games. They've been through this level of scrutiny before. They've been through this high-profile playoff run. You don't have to tell them. They're aware. So let them beat up the baseball and let them do all the damage and let out all their frustration on the seams when they're flying in off the Braves' fingertips, all right? I ain't afraid of Elder. You afraid of Elder? I ain't afraid. Braves fans were coming at me saying, oh, you'd be scared shaking in your boots to see Max Fried again. No, I wouldn't. I would love to see Max Fried again. You think I'm afraid of Max Fried? Spencer Strider's gross. Absolutely. Max Fried? Oh, the days off. No, it wasn't the days off. It's the Phillies can get to him. It's not the days off. We're not doing this. Well, the Dodgers lose. I don't care that the Dodgers had off and they lost too. Who won the World Series last year? The Houston Astros. I remember watching it firsthand. Where were the Astros at? Let me know. Stop with the crying and the bitching and the excuses. It's always excuses. How come you can't say he didn't do well enough? The Phillies did well enough. I'm just saying, when Max Fried was in the game, that was the circumstance. Always coming up with all this outside stuff. Well, technically, we're not winning because of this. And, well, we're not doing well because of that. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry you got the rest while other teams were beating each other up. Sorry, you got to start with your starter, your number one ace, and we had to go with our third best option in game one, which we still won that baseball game. There wasn't excuses for Ranger Suarez and then the 75,000 innings you had to figure out with your bullpen. There was no excuse there for game one. No, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it's not your day. You move on. Better be the day the next time you get it, though, but I ain't afraid of no Max Fried. I promise you that. Promise you that.
Tough loss, Broads. Oh, I knew it. Watching that seventh inning, Wheeler pitched so well. I just had a feeling it was going to happen. Kaboomer, the Riley fella. Oh, I'm so angry. Yeah, you got to take him out. I understand why you leave him in, but, oh, man, I think if you make that, you pull him. But I know it's second guess, and I still feel our team's going to win. We're going to get the Braves, but, man, that was so close. I hate the Braves. Son of a gun.
I hate them too. I hate my body starts shaking even when you just say Austin Riley's name because of him being in position to actually get Bryce Harper out for the double play. Come on. That's not a thing. That's not a thing at all. None of this is a thing. One-handed home run, that defensive play, Harris in the outfield, none of it adds up. It's a disgrace that we had to sit there. I'm right there with you, man. It's like, oh, the blood is boiling, and I'm so pissed. But I'm supposed to be already past it and moving on to the next one. That's why I'm down. I moved on to the next one. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I moved on to the next one. Doesn't matter. All that matters is game 3. I'm confident like you're confident. Game 3. Game 2 didn't happen. Game 3. We think about game 3 here. Game 3. It's time for game 3. Game 3. Game 2, I don't know what that is. Game 3. It's that simple.
Hey, Braves fan here coming in peace.
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to say good luck for the rest of the series, and I wanted to make 2 quick little comments. First off, it's going to be a hell of a series. Looking forward to the rest of it.
Something tells me there's a but. Comes in, very nice posture, if you will. If I could picture his body language while speaking all nicely and all, I feel there's a setup here. Right? Like, hey, just so you know, I come in peace. Doing the come in peace sign. But something tells me there's a but.
Secondly, I think you're not giving Braves fans enough credit. Any fan base is going to be upset about, borderline pitching calls. And, 2, they weren't the only people complaining about the break of the schedules either.
Okay, so I took shots at Braves fans yesterday during the postgame show, and Spencer Strider. I mean, an absolute dope, an absolute moron, freaking out, screaming F-bombs at the blue. You can only do that level of screaming when it's an egregious call. That one, you go back to the tape, go look at the iPad, and it literally is on the line. It's a strike. It's not even close to not being a strike. If it's way off the plate, then by all means, you're allowed to be mad and angry and fight back with anybody behind the plate. I got no problem with it. But for Spencer Strider to throw that out there, that's Bush League is what it is. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing. Spencer Strider shouldn't, but all these fans, it's got to be close. These pitchers have to be close. You can't be booing. I can't give Braves fans, with all due respect, any sort of standing ovation for fandom. They're frauds. Braves fans are not real. They're not a real group of people. The only thing that the only thing that Atlanta people care about in regards to fans would be SEC football, would be college football. That's their thing. Hawks, Fugazi, Falcons, disappointment after disappointment. Braves fans, it's something to do. It's not a lifestyle. Hey, you want to go to Truist Park? Have a couple beers? We'll have a couple pops. We'll spend a couple dollars and we'll go to the park. No. When we go to the park, I have a game. I'm going because I have a game to play. We go as we are one of the members. We attack as if we have batting gloves in our back pocket and we're rocking stirrups. And stop with the schedule thing. I can't stand the schedule thing. I think it's a joke. Oh, in the NFL, I don't really want to have the relaxation with the top seed in the NFC. I'd rather play. Come on. The rhythm. You could take batting practice every single damn day. Every day you can stay in rhythm. They're playing simulated games. That was supposed to fix it all. Stop it. You're not playing well enough because you're not playing well enough. We don't have to overcomplicate it. See, what happens is you become in denial. And when you become in denial, you lose brain cells. And when you lose brain cells, you start to come up with irrational things on why something occurred. You're searching. And what you come up with is, we won too many games. And because we won too many games, we were flat. Please. We'll do one more.
That loss was soul-crushing, bros. It just was. And I think what makes it more annoying is the fact that there were some mistakes made on our end tonight that could have changed the entire complexion of the game. Like, I don't know why they didn't pull Wheeler before he went up to face that I don't remember his name, but like it was time to pull Wheeler. Like, even if you don't expect him to hit a home run, it was time.
It was a baby hair too long, but unfortunately that costed you the game in this one. You needed to be quicker, and he wasn't. Thinking that Wheeler goes out for the 7th is some disaster by Rob Thompson is straight hindsight being 2020. Because the game before, you all hated his decision to take out Ranger too early. And I get that there's a difference between going in the 7th and when Ranger Suarez got yanked, but Zach Wheeler was pitching a no-hitter for basically all of the game leading up to that point. He was rock-solid, elite, ace-level stuff. If Rob pulled him before signs started to show, you would have crucified Rob Thompson. After the Ozuna strikeouts, it was time to pull him. It was probably one batter too long. That's sort of my outlook on it. All right, look. Wednesday, 5 p.m., the bank. I smell blood. Everybody knows it, and it's exactly what's going to happen. Blood will be everywhere. Because the Phillies are going to smack the baseball around the diamond so much that these outfielders are running into the wall full speed, Aaron Rowan breaking their nose, but the ball is flying over the fence. Bryce Harper's going to celebrate in their face after he pops a couple big hits and smokes in some runs, and then he looks right into the bench and looks at Arcia, sees Arcia standing up there, maybe even gives him the "I see you, bitch." Just saying. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, everybody, I love you to death. You're phenomenal people. Go Phils. Feel confident. Feel good. It's not over. We're in a good spot. I swear to God, they got the killer mentality. They'll feast. I promise you that. All right, everybody, we'll be talking after the game. I love you to death, and I'll see you on the next one.